This is where we come from, yeah, we did it. City on my back, I'm committed. This is where we come from, yeah, we made it. Now the whole team celebrating. We like, oh, 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 oh. They knew me for the old me. They can't stop me now, I'm with the home team. No beginner, I'm a winner. Took a couple losses, now I'm cooking, let me simmer. Yeah, tunnel vision, all I see is win, 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 win. This my city section where you been. We move faster alone, but go further together. We can weather any weather forever. A dream team, I done seen things. Confidence is on 100,000. I got family for miles, running up the mileage. Made it through some trials and some tribulations. Now me and the team, I had celebrating, yeah. This is where we come from, yeah, we did it. City on my back, I'm committed. This is where we come from, yeah, we made it. Now the whole team celebrating. We like, oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. You probably thought you knew. A new day is approaching, turn the gray skies into blue. I grew up on these same blocks, school of hard knocks. Had to get it on a hard top, took the hard shots, but we made it. Anticipated, highly decorated. The home team is winning, celebrated. The victory is all mine, and everything is alright. And you know I done seen things, confidence is on 100,000. I got family for miles, running up the mileage. Made it through some trials and some tribulations. Now me and the team, I had celebrating, yeah. This is where we come from, yeah, we did it. City on my back, I'm committed. This is where we come from, yeah, we made it. Now the whole team celebrating. We like, oh, 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 oh.
All right, what up, though? All right, we got our audio check. We are good to go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Spike Kool-Aid for Wednesday, the 28th of January, 2026. Man, can y'all believe that we are already almost done with January? This is our second to last show of the month. And then after that, we will be in February. It'll be combine time. It will be free agency right around the corner. Michigan is getting swamped with snow and cold weather. So shout out to the Pistons, bro. The Pistons won again. They're also, basketball is helping pass the time, man. It really is. I appreciate that, because I was, this is my first time watching basketball probably in 20 years. So because of that, I have been, like when the Lions season ends, it's tough. It's tough for me, and I'm sure it's tough for a lot of people. Like I'm not into hockey at all. I'm not into baseball. I will say that I've been watching a little more. I've been watching some soccer, bro, like crazy. I've been watching some soccer ever since the Lions were eliminated from playoff contention. So, but shout out to everybody in the chat. We got Schiff. What up, Schiff? Schiff, I might have to make you a mod, bro. I might have to make a few people over here some mods. Jay Smooth, we got Fresh and Fly. Get back, Joe. Tell the wifey I said what up, though. Shout out to the One Step Guy. Let me see. Who else we got? Fresh and Fly says, better not miss the Super Bowl with the fourth place schedule. The Patriots did it with the weakest schedule last season with a rookie quarterback and first-year head coach with the Pats. What up, nephew? Combine time indeed. You know what's funny? What up, the Frozen one? What's going on, man? Hola. What's funny is I was going to go to the Combine last year. I had a badge that I had made and everything, man. And I wind up not going. I was only going to go on the defensive line days because I didn't plan to stay in Indianapolis. So I was going to go And I had the app downloaded and everything, man. You have to like sign up and say that you're going to go. And I decided not to go. It was kind of a good thing because I would have saw a particular creator that probably, I just say this. Oh, you mad because I'm styling on you. That's the only thing I'll say. But, back in my neck of the woods, we say something like on site. You know what I mean? But if I was that type of person, I ain't that type of person. It would be like an on-site thing. But we ain't about that life. We more of a touch me in our suit type of person. Bonzilla in the building says, man, I need to get into soccer. You know what, bro? It's extremely, okay, so they're always moving. But when they score, because scoring is so rare, it's like, it's crazy. But don't ask me. It was up one night. I was watching Disney Channel, Disney Plus, and I saw some live sports, and I clicked on it, and it was the Australian Soccer League was playing. I was like, oh, so I'm not, and I ain't gonna lie, bro. So check this out. What if we get what if we get Soccer Syndicate, bro? So Detroit is supposed to get a soccer team, or already has one. And they're building a stadium downtown in like this old decrepit area. I was like, yo, I might start going to soccer games, bro. I mean, anything to take my mind off of the most valuable franchise in Detroit. But shout out to the Pistons. Got a dub yesterday. It was nasty. They got it done. Beat the Denver, I was going to say Denver Broncos, the Denver Nuggets. Man, a lot of questionable calls down the stretch, man. They were trying to get that game away. But shout out to Murray for bricking them free throws, man. We appreciate that. Pistons still need a shooter, and I see what y'all was talking about the guy from Milwaukee. Lions could use another shooter, man. What's the dude for? Man, I've been watching so many games, man. All these guys are running together. Man, plays for. Dang, is it the No, it's not the Dallas Mavericks. I can't remember. And Duncan Robinson, bruh. Like, I'm going to need Duncan Robinson to start going to the hole. You know what I'm saying? It's like, Duncan, if you ain't shooting a three, what is your value, big dog? I'm going to need Duncan Robinson to start going to the basketball rim. Take it to the hole, bro. Do the little pump fake. If they jump, instead of stepping to the side and shooting a three, take it to the hole, bro. He was taking Duncan Robinson is just, I want to shoot. That's all I want to do. And when he's on, he's on. When he's off, he's off. What is the dude's name? Bazingas? No, it's not. What is his name, bro? I was just watching this cat. Young cat. Man, I can't remember. Brooklyn Nets. Any new merch soon? Yes. Speak of the devil. And he shall appear. Yes, I actually that's what I was doing when we first started the stream. I was emailing the shirt mock-ups to myself so that I could bring them in to the show. Man, it's gonna drive me crazy. Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. I gotta know. I have to know. Is anybody watching the All-Star game for the Detroit, the NFL All-Star game? All right. Hold on, let me see. Let me go to NBA. I have to know who this guy is. It's going to drive me crazy if I don't know, because I've been watching him a ton. Okay, he played Monday night. He plays for the Timberwolves. And DiVincenzo. Dante DiVincenzo. That's his name. My man was lighting him up, bro. He was lighting him up. Okay, what does he play? Is he what position is he? He's a guard. He's a guard too. He was the first pick in 2018, Villanova. Yeah, he was on fire the other day, bro. There, let me see. I just dated myself, says the Frozen. Says, if there's a new soccer team in the city, they should call them the Detroit Rockers as an homage to our old indoor soccer team from the 90s. Bro, Well, look, I'm 46, and the Detroit Rockers, where did they play at? Joe Louis or the Palace? I don't know. Let me see. Man, I haven't watched the Pro Bowl since 06. I will never watch the Pro Bowl again. I will never watch the Pro Bowl ever again. The Pro Bowl was the same day of the Pro Bowl. The last Pro Bowl I watched was the same day Kobe Bryant died, and the other 7 individuals that were with him. I will never watch the Pro Bowl again, like ever. And I told myself I would never watch it, and I have not watched it since. So, okay, so let's do this, and then we'll move on to some Lions talk. Who is the one team from the West that you would not want to see? If you were the Pistons, who is the one team that you think we wouldn't match up well against? I'm relatively fresh into this. I've been watching for 2 months straight now, and I'm getting back into it. But I watch more than just them. I pretty much, all I do, once 7 o'clock, come and watch whatever basketball game is on my TV. So I've been watching a lot of teams, man. Okay, see, the Clippers? I don't know, man. I think we could beat the Clippers. The Thunder? Yeah, the Thunder. Man, what happened to the Pacers, bro? How do you go from, like, the NBA Finals to, like, falling off a cliff? But, yeah. The Thunder, I was watching them, man, and so I gotta tell y'all a little something. And I will tell you that I have not been into basketball for years. For years, man. When the Pistons would be in the playoffs, I would watch. So I watched when they got swept by Milwaukee many, many years ago, that year that Milwaukee won the title. And so I'm not like, I just checked out, man. I don't know what happened, but I think I just, when the going to work Pistons started to fade away, I kind of fell out of love with basketball. So I come back to basketball, and it's a completely different place. Like we were talking yesterday, and how I'm like, the NBA now has become shoot three, go to the basket, and scream. Those are the only two. Like, I don't know how many mid-range, like, how's the mid-range game in the NBA? Who pulls up at the elbow and shoots? Kobe Bryant used to do it. Like, I don't know if that's officially dead, but the games that I've been watching, I do not see a lot of mid-range jumpers. I just don't see it. It's either go to the basket, screen for a foul, do a post-up move, couple bounces, turn around, maybe a dunk. And I don't know, man. It seems like there's a lot of traveling going on in the NBA as well. Then I'm like, okay, well, what happened to the carry? Like, I don't know if carry is what I remember. So I kind of feel old, right? So I come back to the NBA, and I'm seeing 100-point games. Remember, 100-point game was a rarity back in the day. And if it was like 101 to 99. All you do is shoot threes. That's all you do. So I'm gonna tell you how I found about SGA from Oklahoma City. I'm not even lying. I am not, like, I was not connected to basketball. Sometimes I would listen to people doing, like, the draft that's in June. I knew who I found out, the first time I found out who he was, I'm not gonna lie, was Shaq, his series with him and Allen Iverson about trying to revamp Reebok, and they tried to get SGA to be their guy. I had never heard of the guy before that. And I'm like, wow, that's how long I've been out of touch from the NBA. But it has given me a distraction from football, because it's like football, right? And now I'm like, yo, I could care less. Like, I didn't really watch much of the playoffs. I only watched the teams that mattered to me, that I wanted to see something happen to. So the Rams and Bears. I didn't watch too many other games, man, because it was upsetting me. It was upsetting me to watch these games with these teams still playing, and we're not, and we know why we're not playing. So why aren't we playing? But does Brad know why we aren't playing? So we got a lot to talk about. But the Spurs Orlando Magic, I don't know, bro. Orlando, I've watched them, man, and I'm not really, they don't really scare me from what I've seen. San Antonio Spurs, man, I'm like, how is Wembanyama even, like, I'm watching him and I'm just like, dude is just a stick, bro. It seems like everybody wants to, DeMar DeRozan is the mid-range guy. All right, so last question I asked about basketball is, who is like the mid-range guy in the, okay, somebody said DeMar DeRozan, but who is like is he the bona fide, like Rip Hamilton was that guy, right? Kobe would take it to the hole. He would shoot a three. Rip didn't really he wasn't really a three person. He would go to the basket more than he would shoot threes to me. But he was the pull-up guy, like elbow, boom, boom, boom. Who is that guy in the NBA today? DeMar, he's that guy. I'm like, man, I didn't even know Russell Westbrook was still playing. I'm like, dang. Shout out to the NBA players as well. And I was thinking, and we'll get to the Lions. I was thinking too, for all my fellas out there with thinning hair, right? I was wondering, why is thinning hair a big deal? Why do we feel a certain way about thinning hair? Is it because we get teased about it? And why do we get teased about it? There's literally nothing we can do about it. It's genetic. It's, I know everything about there is to know about thinning hair and why it happens and blah, 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 and that there's no cure and yada, yada. But I was watching basketball. I'm like, you're never safe. You're not safe. All the angles are above your head. So if you're trying to hide your receding hairline or thinning hairline, and the minute people see it, you're going to get clowned. So I was watching all of these guys, and I'm like, man, he's got a spot. And it's tough because every camera angle is slightly above your head. And then if you do try to cover it up, if you try to hide it, you're going to turn into LeBron James. If you try to cover it up, you're going to turn into, what's my name from Boston? What's the dude name from Boston, man? I forgot his name. The guy that his hair was rubbing off on people's jerseys. Like, you're going to be one of those two people. So it's just a side kind of thought. I feel bad for these guys, man. The thing is, they're all rich. They can get it taken care of. But Jaylen Brown, yeah, bro. Yeah, man. Kobe, how you doing, man? Now, as far as the Pistons winning the championship, I'm looking at, it's a couple things that concern me about the Pistons from what I've been watching and other teams. One, okay, so we got a top defense, right? The Pistons got a top defense. So a couple things that concern me about the Pistons is I think they said on one of the broadcasts that the Pistons are like the slowest, like the second to last slowest tempo team in the NBA. And when you watch these teams from like the West, like the Raptors, they just flying around. I mean, teams are flying. It's teams scoring 3 baskets and 24 points. The Pistons are not that team. So if we get down, can we take shots to come up? Like if Duncan Robinson is off, if Jenkins is off, if they're off, then what are you going to do? So that's the thing that kind of concerns me. If can we run? But then we played the Kings, and the Kings are a running team, and we played them. And I'm like, how you fools, the Pistons barely want to score 105. And they put up like 145, bro. I'm like, oh, so that's all it was. You needed to keep up with these guys. So I don't know, but I'm a little nervous about a West team, like OKC, because I'm like OKC, but they also can be beat though. They can be beat, man. So I don't know, but we'll be talking about that more as we go on. LeBron be wearing a do-rag. No, so LeBron, okay, Frozen says regarding thinning hair, I have no idea. Personally, I'm in a hurry for it to go. It's less maintenance, and I look better bald anyway. Hey, but Frozen, here's the thing about that. Is it though? Is it? If you're rocking the bald, how often do you shave your head? What do you use? For me, I have to shave. When I do the bald, it's every 3 days. Every third day, I have to shave my head. It's a pain in the butt. Then I have a sensitive scalp, so I have to use, I have to worry about hair bumps and all of that stuff. Or I can use Magic Shave. Like, it was a time that I was using Magic Shave on my head. So, and I can't use one of those shavers that has the little, I can't use one of those because it'll just rip up my skin. So I don't know. I'm like, is it less maintenance? If you want to always rock the clean. But you know what I could not get? I know we all in left field. You know what I could not get? The micropigmentation. There's no way I could do that. Kenny Anderson got that, or what's his name? Is it Kenny Anderson? Kenny from TNT or whatever it is. He got that. And I'm like, bruh, that don't work for us, dog. That don't work for us. They do, like, we can't do that. We cannot. It doesn't. I'm sorry. It doesn't work for black people. That's what I mean by us. It doesn't work. I don't think it works, period. It's little dots on your head, and they don't even look real, man. So it's so many things y'all can do. But anyway, man. Okay, now let's get back to football. Pierce says, I don't want us to bring Schwartz back. Okay, Pierce, why? What's your argument? Ned says need to trade our Sear brother and bring Booker home. Bring back wide 9 defense and may the Schwartz be with you. They use defense and offense unlike the Lions. I can't see OKC beating the Spurs in the playoffs. I'm interested in how we fare against OKC. 1 and 2 defense, go at it. They got non-electric hair shaver. You use shaving cream, works great. You know what, Ned? I don't know, bro. Everything I try for my scalp will irritate it. Every single thing, bro. Razor, except Magic Shave. That was the only thing that didn't do it. What is that, bro? See, what is that? What kind of drops are those? When you're bald, you always have to be worried about it more than anyone else, so I've been told. When you're bald and you're always more worried about it than anybody else. Let me see. I love that Spaceball reference. May the Schwartz be with you. Too much baggage here. I think he clashes with Dan. 2 alphas. Okay, well, let's get into it. Let's get right into it. I got crazy sensitive skin. You touch my skin and it turns red. Oh, you one of those. You one of those. I wore a football helmet for almost 11 years. When I was done playing, hair took a beating, so I got locks. Haven't looked back since. Wow. Have you used shea butter? I probably have. They have been growing hair in my beard. Hey, but what kind of drops are you talking about, though? All right. So, look, we can start. Look, every time somebody, my man Ryan suggested balding, it was Bald Syndicate or Balding Syndicate, bro, had me in tears. Like, literally, I could have a whole syndicate about hair loss. Like, it's crazy. Anyway, let me get my laughs out, and then we'll get into it. Look them up and thank me later. Hey, just bro, you follow me on Twitter, right? Just send me a DM. Send me a DM because I'm gonna forget by the time. Oh no, the bonnet, bro. No, you will. I'm sorry. Hey, shout out to anybody that wear a bonnet. I know if you got locks, you gotta wear a bonnet. Hey, you will never catch me in a bonnet, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I cannot. No. Nope. No. Y'all wanted me to do it. Y'all wanted me to do it for cause hey, right now I do minoxidil and I take some over the counter supplements. Hey, Lori. Hey, look, nothing. You ain't missed nothing. You just missed some man talk. That's it. But now we gonna get into the show. All right, so the Detroit Lions their defense has never been good. And there's a guy that might be available, not a player, but a coach, a coordinator that may be available. And he goes by the name of Jim Schwartz. Now, if you remember, Jim Schwartz was the former Detroit Lions head coach from 2009 to 2013. He took over after the infamous 0-16 season when Rod Marinelli was fired and Jim Schwartz took over that team. Now, I did not know that Jim Schwartz was 59 years old. I thought he was a little bit older than that, but football can stress you out. Just ask Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes. They look a lot different than they have looked when they were hired. But I saw a post on Twitter today, and it got me interested, and it got me thinking. So there's a lot of stats that revolve around the Detroit Lions, and not all of them are good. There's ones in particular, like I think that it's a few that all Detroit Lions fans should know. One is the Detroit Lions have never been to a Super Bowl. 2 is they're the only NFC team to never appear in the Super Bowl. 3 is they're the oldest team to never appear in the Super Bowl. Like every Lions fan, and you should know that the Lions became the Lions in 1934. Those are all 4 things that you should know. You should also know that no former Detroit Lions head coach has been hired in a head coach capacity for another NFL football team. And it was very close to happening. Jim Caldwell has applied for several jobs. Most of these coaches, they came from other teams like Steve Mariucci came from a team, became our coach, never coached again, but he had already been a previous coach. So once you've coached for the Detroit Lions, you have never held a head coaching job in the NFL. You might have been an interim head coach, but that doesn't count. I mean, a permanent head coaching hire. And for those of you who know, Jim Schwartz was the Detroit Lions head coach from 2009 to 2013. He was then fired after 5 seasons. In those 5 seasons, we only made the playoffs one time, I believe. We also, if I'm not mistaken, had a pretty decent defense. That might have been where Jim Caldwell's first year that we had that top 3 defense. But that was built off the back of Jim Schwartz. And he was replaced. We had Jim Caldwell, Matt Patricia, and now Dan Campbell. But since Jim Schwartz have left the Detroit Lions, he has been a defensive coordinator for several NFL teams. Now we have a defensive coordinator. The jury is still out on how he is. I think that he needs a little more talent to work with before I really judge him. But I'm also in the mindset of the Detroit Lions current regime doesn't have a lot of time. That's why we brought in Mike Kafka after hiring Drew Petzing. And we'll talk about him a little later today as well. But the Detroit Lions could also use maybe some type of, if they're not going to replace Kelvin Shepard, could they bring in some type of defensive assistant or kind of overseer to oversee the defense? They could. But why are we even having this conversation? Because Jim Schwartz is upset with Cleveland management that he got passed up for the job for the Cleveland Browns. They went with Todd Monken, another former coordinator. This is coming from Tom Pelissero. Now, this was many, many hours ago. But he says, after the Browns inform defensive coordinator, because he is currently still their DC, Jim Schwartz this morning, they were passing him over to hire Todd Monken as head coach. Schwartz was visibly upset and said goodbyes in the building and told other coaches he's not coming back, sources tell the insiders. Schwartz is under contract and Cleveland wants to retain him, but his future is now unclear. So maybe he was in his feelings. Maybe he's already made a decision, but that's what somebody, that's an alpha to me. That is an alpha male. You pass me over and I'm done. Now, what was this reaction based off? Was it based off a promise that he was made in Cleveland? Was it based off his desire to be a head coach again? Was it based off the fact that he has been with Cleveland for the past few years through the miserable seasons that they've had, and he has had enough? He's been with Cleveland since 2023. Jim Schwartz could have became the first Detroit Lions previous head coach to get a head coach as another NFL head coach. I think some of them have gone off to become college head coaches, but none have been hired. The Lions only have one guy that they fired back in the 1950s or something like that, and they rehired him again. They've also never done that again either. So we'll see how it works out with Jim Schwartz. But could Jim Schwartz come in and possibly be some type of on the defensive staff? Now, here's the part. Of course, he would have to be released out of his contract. I don't know how that's going to, fix itself in Cleveland. But assuming it does, where the outcome is that he's no longer there. Maybe when we talk about the Cleveland Browns, there's a lot of complaining. But a lot of these guys wind up staying with the team. I don't think Jim Schwartz is going to stay. I think he's going to do everything possible to leave. Could we possibly bring him in a John Fox type capacity for the Detroit Lions? Now, I myself, with my job on the line, if I'm Dan Campbell, I am going to do whatever it takes to win because I'm trying to think about this. You know how we hear about sacrificing one to save many? And we've had the sacrificial lamb before. Aubrey Pleasant was a sacrificial lamb. We put him out to the slaughter. We gave him up for sacrifice so that we wouldn't have to fire Aaron Glenn. If Dan Campbell wants to keep his job after 2 years, he's going to have to make the right decisions. That's why we brought in Kafka on top of, there's no other reason to have 2 OCs. unless you don't think one is enough. So if he doesn't want to fire Kelvin Shepherd, he may want to bring in an assistant, advisor, some type of high-ranking role. Jim Schwartz could be the Kafka of the defense, okay? Now, as far as sacrificing one to save many, if Dan Campbell goes, it's a good possibility most of the staff will go with him. The current coach, the new coach, would have to come in and keep the entire staff. So if you're going to sacrifice one, that one being Kelvin Shepherd, to save many, then you might have to do that. So when it comes to Jim Schwartz, after his time with the Detroit Lions, from 2009 to 2013, he was the Buffalo Bills defensive coordinator in 2014. He was the Philadelphia Eagles defensive coordinator in 2016, which he has a Super Bowl. He went from 2016 to 2020. He then, and here's where he could fit in with the Detroit Lions. If they do not want to fire Kelvin Shepherd or do anything like that, with the Tennessee Titans in 2021 to 22, he was the senior defensive assistant. And then he became, in 2023 to this year, the defensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns in 2025 had the number one defense for like the first half of the year. And I think their defense ended in top 5, top 6. They wind up losing a little bit as the Houston Texans kind of came over and took over. But when we played the Cleveland Browns in week 4 or 3, whatever that was, they were the number one defense. So would I fire Kelvin? Me, I am all about sacrifice at this point. This isn't it's different from Aubrey Pleasant. You're in year 2. Your defense sucks. Aaron Glenn sucks. And you are trying to find a scapegoat. And then, ironically, Aaron Glenn scapegoats his entire staff got scapegoated. Aaron Glenn said, I'm firing everybody. I see a big tray. I'm leaving here with something. Y'all are gone. I'll stay. Y'all gone. That had to be a desperation move. Fired everybody. Everybody gone. Whoever came, they gone. Right? If you're trying to save your job, you are going to do whatever it takes. Now, of course, Jim Schwartz is still part of the Cleveland Browns. I don't know if there's any way he can be traded or whatever situation, but if he has his way, he won't be there anymore. There are only 2 head coaching jobs remaining. And I feel like Jim Schwartz, maybe he really thought he was going to get, to me, if he's that man, we always knew he was feisty. You remember Handshake Gate? But if he's that mad, I believe Cleveland promised him something. And then it got me thinking of the dumb organization that Cleveland is. You've got Andrew Berry that refuses to part ways and make his team better with Myles Garrett. You have the way that they've been doing things. And I think passing over Jim Schwartz was another dumb thing. But they also probably promised him something. He was under the impression he was getting that job. Otherwise, you don't storm out like that. You don't storm out and say, I'm done, goodbye, I'll see you on the other side. So for me, I'm all about this. John Fox, we did the same thing with him, something very similar. If Jim Schwartz is not going to be our new DC or he gets out of Cleveland, why not bring him back? Bring him back to the Detroit Lions and help him help Shep. If you don't want to get rid of Shep, help him help Shep. And then he could start to kind of plot his course in the next couple of years. Because one thing is the fact right now is that this entire regime is set to be replaced in 2 years. That is a fact right now because they don't have a contract. So that's the way I'm looking at it, that this regime, so why not lose? Nobody's worried about the future right now because they might not even have one. And in order to secure a future past year 7, you are going to have to go to places you've never been before, aka the Super Bowl. That's what Sheila wants to see. So let me know in the comments below, would you want, if Jim Schwartz can get out of Cleveland, would you want him on Detroit Lions, on the Detroit Lions staff in some capacity? If we were to do this, I would have much more confidence in our defense, even with no moves being made. Because Schwartz is also a guy that I don't think he's going to stand by idle and let things happen the way they've been happening. And maybe he's too alpha for Detroit, but hey, you ever seen the movie The Great? It didn't end well for them 2 alphas. So sometimes you got to get along to get places. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me see. What are y'all talking about? He turned that. Yeah. Yep. So we fired Rod Marinelli. We drafted Stafford, and we wind up 3 years later getting into the playoffs. It's hard to believe, man, that Stafford's third year. I remember, like, man, because Stafford was battling injury, and I'm like, man, this dude, I mean, he might not work out, and then he wind up, taking us to the playoffs, and the rest is history. Brad look old now? Yeah. Jim is a no BS kind of guy. Schwartz could improve our defense. Would Dan give him autonomy? That's what he would want. Hey, if Dan is trying to win games, he's going to evolve. Right? Dan Campbell used the word evolve. And we need to see that. That's a good point. Our OC and DC need control. Dan needs to focus on the big picture. Bring him in for our defense. We need a proven guy. Schiff says, I would love Schwartz, but once again, Dan hasn't hired anybody else on defense outside of Casey yet, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man. The more we talk about this, the more people are genuinely start to question what are the Lions doing? Why are we so focused about? Of course, we have to find a coordinator. Like, we had to do that, right? But we just are offense. I mean, we're even talking about, which I made a segment about this yesterday, and I was surprised by some of you guys' comments. The fact that you are fine with the Lions investing in a quarterback. I don't understand that. I do not understand that, because if the Lions invest in a quarterback under this regime, who knows if that quarterback will be here for the next one? Because that's the territory we're at, ladies and gentlemen. We are on the cusp of new regime, whether you want to admit it or not, whether you like it or not. I don't like talking about this. I like Dan Campbell. And Brad Holmes is all right. He all right. He really is starting to get in my. He's already in the doghouse. I'm talking about in freezing temperatures, bro. I am leaving him outside. And I would not do that to an actual dog, by the way. But that's the metaphor I'm using with Brad Holmes. Seeing his face sickens me. It sickens me, man. And we're going to talk about him in a bit too. And I'm going to rip into him. What he said about why we hired Drew Petzing is like, bruh, you can't be serious. Yes, I would love to hire Schwartz in a heartbeat. He had a good defense in Cleveland and in Detroit. I think Dan Campbell sees he's got to have guys he can trust so he can focus on his job only. I just wish they would put more into the defense. Spencer says Jim would have a better chance of getting a head coaching job out of Detroit over staying with the Browns. Look at the teams remaining in the playoffs. They all pretty much had a good defense, if not top of the league. And you know what? That's what we're going to do. I want to do that before the show ends. Because I wanted to compare the playoff defenses. We have Goff. We don't need a QB. Them Shorts can keep Shep at the play. It was the guy from Georgia Tech. He would be a 6th-round pick. Shepard just came out like months ago and said he wasn't changing the scheme. That's bad. I'm coming to the conclusion that Brad doesn't know what he's doing. I said that, though. I said that. Can't scheme talent. If Shepard will let Schwartz change things about the scheme, that's the only thing. Man, I'm not going to lie. I've been looking forward to your streams every time something happened where the Lions can make a move. Well, I appreciate that, man. Brad Holmes is the thing that doesn't fit in the trash outside on the curb that you're unsure if you want to get rid of. I don't mind a QB, but not the time for one with your limited Lewis. That's what I'm saying. That's what yesterday's show. As a matter of fact, the last video I made on this channel is about that. It's about the timing of drafting a QB. At this point, I don't care if keep Kyle Allen. Keep him on. We have so much stuff to do, and the resources. We went into great detail in yesterday's 2-hour show. Shout out to you guys listening to me for 2 hours. But we went into great detail about why that the Lions are in a sticky situation, from the salary cap situation they're in to the free agents they have to sign and all of that. So the Lions are in a sticky situation. I don't think we have the resources. We might as well spend whatever we spend, the cheapest amount possible, on would I love a capable backup? Yes. A Malik Willis, a Gardner Minshew, somebody that can actually go out and win some games. Absolutely. But I will say this, Jared Goff has been pretty durable for most of his career and his time with the Detroit Lions. Only missed a handful of games. And Stafford is pretty much the same way, right? Keep him protected. He'll be fine. He might take a couple bumps and bruises, but he'll be fine. Stafford is not a runner. How many quarterbacks get hurt in the pocket like that? You're probably going to get a concussion. Every NFL player gets a concussion eventually, right? So that's probably the worst that's going to happen. Maybe you take a rib shot. Worst case scenario, and this is like what you don't want to see for a pocket quarterback, is where they get tackled from multiple angles and then something like that happens. It's when they become runners that you really have to worry, because now it's a free-for-all. People are trying to destroy them guys. That's why there's so many late hits on quarterbacks, whether they're running out of bounds or this is your one chance to light the quarterback up. Y'all think, and that's why I'm like, why do y'all want a running QB so bad? Once they get past that line of scrimmage, they are fair game, bro. Literally, the entire defense is hunting them. So, and even if they slide, they're not safe. They are not safe, man. That's why when they're sliding, it's so many people trying to take their head off. Thank you, Reese. Thank you, bro. Cause I was sitting and I'm like, I'm supposed to be talking about something, but I forgot. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. We don't need a QB right now. I think we need so much stuff. Sam Darnold is anything but mobile. Facts, I'd rather have a smart pocket passer. But here's the thing. I want y'all to understand that as much as you like this regime, they are on a limited time. They're on a limited time right now. So they have to ace this. Shout out to Slice with the super chat. Appreciate you. Says, if you remember the St. Brown podcast, he mentioned that the only thing they were waiting for was to see who the new OC was. Going to be. So I think Shepard is staying as a DC. And you know what? I think he is too. But if Jim Schwartz leaves Cleveland, he needs to come. We need to bring him in. We did the same. And after bringing in Kafka in some undisclosed offensive high-ranking role, we can do the same thing with Schwartz. And that would really solidify to me that Dan Campbell is not playing. He's not playing. But at the same time, man, I need to confess. I need to confess, man. Okay. My feeling about Brad Holmes is so bad right now. I feel like I'm picking on him. I feel like that I am picking on this guy because Brad Holmes, listen, he sickens me. He really does. And he needs to stop talking. Brad Holmes needs to stop talking. He does. He needs to stop talking. I think he's going to stick his foot further and further and further in his throat this offseason. When we go over what was said, what Dave Burkett got from him about Petzing and the hire, I'm actually disgusted. I'm disgusted. Shut Claus, what up, big dog? Where have you been, bro? You have been ghost, my friend. I hope you're doing well. I think Brad is gonna FAFO. I think he don't care. Okay. I feel like it's some bad words in there. I feel like I know what two of those words are. Something. Okay. I don't know what that means, but I appreciate the super chat. But I feel like it's some bad words in there. What did Brad say about petsing? We're going to get into that. Yeah, I have no idea what that means. Teams will eat, but it probably is. Okay, somebody give me the clean version. What up, Cody? What's the clean version of that? Oh, okay. Now let me read that with that in mind. I think Brad is gonna mess around and find out. I think he don't care. Well, I tell you what. I mean, Brad, if he wants to do that, then he will wind up looking for another job. Y'all think but Brad is, I'm really starting to, like, he's starting, I don't even want to hear his voice anymore. Like, that's how much he's starting to irritate me. All right. We're going to get into that. I might say that for the last part of the show. Keep y'all entertained. All right. You know what's funny is I never got a, okay. Ooh. All right. I don't think we're going to be able to do this. But we shall see. All right. Let me bring up that and let me go to stats. Yo, I tell you what. I will tell you what. This is kind of intriguing. This is interesting. I don't know if we're going to have the money, though. I just don't know. Okay. Let me see what his market value is. All right. I'm not going to look because I want to be surprised with you guys. Let me see. Did you see my comment about Kelvin Shepard? William, I would rather have Shepard than any other coordinator. Honestly, he is the best defensive mind. One of the best defensive minds. If he leaves, he will go somewhere else and thrive. But you know what, Will? I respect that. That's most of people who leave Detroit. I mean, here it is that Craig Reynolds is in the Super Bowl. Craig Reynolds and Carlton Davis III, while the Detroit Lions are hiring 2 OCs, which there's no reason we should have hired 2 OCs, but we'll get into that. It's probably lip service from Brad Holmes. Hey, it's worse. What Brad Holmes said today, or what Dave Burkett got out of him, to me, is just disgusting. It really is. I'm going to keep it $1.50. It's disgusting. Minoxidil and rub patches with red onion. John, you need to catch up, bro. You are way, way, way behind. Way behind. Hey, whoever this is, Petsing's barber, y'all are ridiculous. All right, so let's get into it. All right, I've been asked this question for a couple of days now. I keep forgetting to make a segment about it, so here we go. And that is the Detroit Lions, for some reason, I think it's because of Drew Petzing being our new offensive coordinator, what he likes to run with the 13 personnel, being the 3 tight ends and 1 running back. What are we going to do at tight end? And we know we've got Sam Laporta. We have Brock Wright. Both of those guys are coming back from injury. As of right now, to my knowledge, I don't think we have Shane Zylstra. Now, the Lions continue to bring back guys that have fit well in their system and that they like them, they bring them back. But we do understand that we have to evolve. And the name that people keep bringing to me is Isaiah Likely. Isaiah Likely is completing his rookie contract, 4th-round pick. Now, he did spend his rookie contract with the Baltimore Ravens, but they gave Mark Andrews the money. And I don't know if they're going to be paying 2 tight ends. He is set to become a free agent this offseason in a matter of 6 weeks. Should or could the Detroit Lions be interested in Isaiah Likely? I think that this is intriguing based off of a few things. One, where our current roster stands when it comes to tight ends on the roster, who our new OC is, and the fact that 2 of our tight ends are coming back from injury. Both of them were put out for the season. Now, Sam Laporta reportedly is going to be ready to go, but what does that mean about Brock Wright and who's going to be number 3? So, and a lot of you guys have been saying, we've been talking about this, and I don't know what Isaiah's market value is, so all of this could be invalid by the time we get there. I haven't looked at it. And we're talking about a system that Brad Holmes likes to use. Shout out to my guy, Spirit of Detroit, because he's really the first one that I saw that really honed in and pointed this out, is that when Brad Holmes is going to replace you, if he trades you away, he's probably going to replace you. But if he drafts this specific position and there's a person coming up on the final year of their deal, if he drafts that person or that position, the person coming up on the final year of their deal is most likely gone. It's a way that you can keep cheap talent coming into your football team. So in this case, Sam Laporta, Brian Branch, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell and Jahmyr are up for extensions that don't have to be made. Their fifth-year options will be picked up. Then they have to worry about, are you going to extend them? Then you have Sam Laporta and Brian Branch going into year 4. They're the last year. They will be free agents this time next year. Is that something, when it comes to Sam Laporta, that the Detroit Lions are potentially considering? So should the Detroit Lions bring in Isaiah Likely? Isaiah Likely, I'm going to tell you right now, he is going to be cheaper than Sam Laporta. His best year is nowhere near Sam Laporta's best year. As a matter of fact, Sam Laporta might have had a better year this year than Isaiah Likely has had, period. Like, these numbers are atrocious. Of course, you've got Mark Andrews as competition, and we all know who your quarterback is. We all know who your quarterback is. So Isaiah Likely is a guy that would get some work in Detroit. All right. But he is going to be cheaper than Sam Laporta. I have no doubt. Based off these numbers, he's going to be cheaper. When Sam Laporta is up, the only thing holding Sam back is the injury. If he comes back, and we're talking about comeback player of the year numbers, then he might outprice himself. Could the Detroit Lions get ahead of that, sign Isaiah Likely, and then maybe Isaiah Likely is tight end number 1 as we go into 2027? This team is going to, man, this is kind of exciting to talk about, because it's going to be some change. It's going to be some change, and it's going to start with players that we have gotten familiar with, players that we love. We're going to see some turnover in Detroit. Let's take a look at Isaiah Likely's stats. I didn't even realize that he was a 4th-round pick out of Coast Carolina, pick 139 in 2022. So this is the same draft as Hutch, Jamison Williams, Josh Pascal, the guys in 2027 or 2025. He had 27 receptions. Could you imagine 27? Could you imagine our tight end with 27 receptions? Sam Laporta had 80-something his rookie. He set a record. Hit 80-something his rookie season. Isaiah Likely, 307 yards. I mean, these are mediocre tight end numbers. Mediocre. Let's look at his entire career. He's played the majority of all the games. His only full season was 2023. His highest reception total was the year before last with 42. He's only been targeted a high of 60 times in his career. His high, so 2024 was the highest of his career. He had more receptions. He had 2 less targets, but this is when he had the most yards. 6 touchdowns, 1 touchdown. And you've already paid Mark Andrews, so that's a possibility. That's the writing on the wall, that you're probably going to move on from Isaiah Likely. Now, what is his market value? We're going to look at this together. What is Isaiah Likely's market value heading into free agency? $8 million a year for 2 years. $8 million a year for 2 years. Isaiah Likely just became a target for Brad Holmes. He really did. If you look at this, think about this. You're talking about a 2-year deal, $8.8 million. Now, you're making more money than Sam Laporta, but we don't know what Sam Laporta is going to be. If we were to do this, there's a couple things that stand out to me. One, what do you notice here? 2-year deal. A 2-year deal. So not only do you cover your tail with Sam Laporta, you get him on a 2-year deal. What is 2 years is the magic number. Why is it the magic number? Well, because Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell only have 2 years left on their respective deals. Jared Goff has a out in his contract after, you guessed it, 2 years. We could have a whole new regime in 2 years. So all of a sudden, Isaiah Likely, in my opinion, absolutely became a target. I don't know where you're going to get this money from, but the Lions have to get money anyway. They have to get money anyway. Now, of course, you're going to have Sam Laporta, but Sam Laporta making peanuts compared to what Isaiah Likely would be making. Now, let's see if Sam Laporta has a market value. That's what I want to see. It might be too early for him to have one because of where we are in his contract. He still has a year left. He does have a market value, okay? I do not know what this is. I don't know what this is going to be, so we're going to see it together. So we know Isaiah Likely, we pulled him up, 2 years, $8 million a year, about $16 million. Sam Laporta's market value is $17 million. $17 million. Holy mackerel. This would make him the second highest paid tight end in the NFL. 3 years, $17 million with an average salary of 16.9. And look, didn't I tell you without even knowing his market value that all of a sudden Isaiah Likely became a target? He 100% did. 100%. Everything fits. Sam Laporta is coming off an injury. So now you could have Isaiah Likely, Sam Laporta, and you could keep Brock Wright. Shane Zylstra, you can do whatever you're going to do with him. You see what's going on with Sam. You have Isaiah as your insurance. And guess what? What happens, ladies and gentlemen? You move on. You move on from Sam Laporta. He becomes a free agent. And then you have Isaiah Likely. And who knows? Maybe you draft another tight end in 2027. So, should Isaiah Likely? What would you do? What would you do? Numbers are completely different. Completely different. It depends on and I don't know. I don't know. But I tell you what, monetarily, Isaiah Likely fits. And you still have Sam Laporta under contract for another year. And in that year, and you don't even know what he's going to do. He gets hit in the back. He could be done. He could be done. So not only is Isaiah Likely insurance for Sam Laporta, he is probably his replacement. So I completely wouldn't be surprised. $17 million. $17 million. Do you think Brad Holmes is going to, and this is pre-Sam Laporta's 4th year. Let's say Sam Laporta comes back and he's like, I'm good to go. We good. Back is straight. I'm 100%. Not 99, I'm 100%. He come out, he a dog. He killing them. He got 80 receptions. You know what I'm saying? 915 yards, 1,000, whatever it is. Especially in the Drew Petzing system, right? So he killing the game. He gonna outprice. He gonna be priced even more than $17 million. That's now. That's missing half of his 3rd season. That's after 2.5 seasons. $17 million. And I'm going to tell you what, Spot Track don't be that far off. It does not be that far off, man. It be within a few $1,000,000 usually. When they have projections, it is very, very close. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Would you take him? Would you take him to potentially replace Sam Laporta? That's a great question. All right. Or, hey, trade. Yup. Trade is $17 million, bro. We can't pay Laporta. Let me see. When does J-Mo's deal kick in? Kiara, J-Mo is going into year 5, so it does not kick in until next year. It doesn't kick in until next season in 2027. Let me see. It's not time for Laporta to be paid that money. He's dealt with injuries the past 2 seasons, so we just can't drop the bag on him yet. Yeah, Brad's super cheap, but he does reward current Lions. Yeah. Marked on a scooter, but check this out. And this is when you think about this team every day, and the more you talk, the more things like you think of more things, right? So we're talking about early Brad Holmes, right? So we're in late Brad Holmes now. So when did Brad Holmes do all that rewarding? He did all that rewarding going into year 4. Now you're going into year 6, right? So what you rewarded Aiden, you did reward him. He was like the last major one you awarded. So who else? And here's a thing that we were talking about. Once you get around the The gift that came with Brad's bad drafting or his lackluster drafting in the second half of 2023, the gift that came with that is you ain't got to pay them. Ain't none of them earn no money right now. Terrion ain't earn no money. Ennis Shoal ain't earn no money. Of course, Terrion and Tate is too early. So after the first 2 rounds of 2023, no one has earned any money. Not a single I can't even name a person that has earned money. Can you think of one Detroit Lion that has earned money after the second round of 2023? We don't even know if Brian Branch has earned money, to be real with you. And it's so sad because him and Sam Laporta lost a bunch of money. They lost a bunch of money. Instead of playing for contracts, they're going to be playing for comeback. Like, that's what they're going to be doing. Laporta getting injured because he blocks as much of a lineman. That's why our run game struggled when he was hurt. Yeah, he definitely is. If management gets the team right, the best players going into the season, and we make a Super Bowl and possibly win it, do you think the salary cap prevent them from going back? A, B, that's a good question. That is a good question. That's why this is so important. How many years does McBride have left on his contract? Bro, he just got paid. He just got paid. Trey McBride just got paid. He just signed a deal. I'll look for you, though. Trey McBride, he had to just get paid. Yeah, he just got paid. He just got paid. He not a free agent till he's 30 years old in 2030. I think Branch has earned his money. See, I don't know, B. I don't know. Like, I think that he was trending that way. But when you lose and you lose a year, that's in the NFL, man. That like you lost money at that point. Maybe he's earned a certain amount, but maybe it's not what he wants. Derek, so if Brad restructure contracts and then pay Sam Laporta and Jahmyr Gibbs, what does that mean for free agency? Hey, Will, it depends on how much money we have. What happens in free agency depends on how much money. I don't know what those restructures are going to be. I don't know what Brad is looking to spend, who he's looking to get. I did look and see from ESPN, they had the top 50 free agents, and number 1 is Trey Hendrickson, which is crazy, bro. You know how long I've been waiting for Trey Hendrickson to be a free agent? Like, it's crazy, bro. It is crazy. But guess what? Cincinnati could tag the dude. Unless Trey put the no tag in his extra money. Okay, let me see how long we've been on. Dang, we've been on for an hour? It's because we spent 20 minutes talking about hair loss, bro. Trey Hendrickson becoming a Lion is still a pipe dream. Hey, the Lions making the Super Bowl is a pipe dream. Look. The Lions having an elite defense is a pipe dream. It's a pipe dream. All right, let's get into meat and potatoes. I'll be right back. I will be right back because I want to make sure I'm not thinking about I want to make sure I have complete focus for this last topic of the day. So thank you for reminding me about Trey. I will be right back. Give me a second. All right. We may have to start like having a 5-minute intermission or something. So what I did was I had to bring up some stuff that I wanted to talk about. And I'm actually glad that I went through this because there's actually something new that I want to talk about as well. And I had to look through my bookmarks to figure it out. All right. Okay. So there's a couple more segments that I want to do, and then we will wrap up the show. Don't forget, tomorrow we are on Lion Syndicate. There is no show here on Thursday because I just, with it being the off season, first of all, that's a lot of talking. Secondly, I don't need to make content. I don't need to be live every day over here. You know what I'm saying? But ideally, we would love to have content every day. But there are a couple more things that I want to talk about. Let me see. And defensive end Rieger from the East-West Bowl looks the part. Plus, think he's been injured several times. Sound like a Brad Holmes guy. All right. So I think this one's going to be interesting when you guys hear this. Let me move this over here and let me bring up this information. All right. I think that this is going to be a very interesting topic, and I think it's going to kind of paint the picture and tell you, actually to my surprise, where Lions fans may be at when it comes to attending games at Ford Field. Now, for the first time in Lions history, there has been a wait list. I don't remember a wait list being at the Silverdome. Silverdome seated almost 80,000 people, and it was a lot. They had a lot of space. One thing I'm learning about NFL teams, one of the reasons that they're making the stadium so small is to create demand, but usually you have to be good to have that demand. The new Buffalo Bills Stadium is designed like it is to create demand. They want people clamoring to get in. They don't want to have a bunch of seating. The seating at Ford Field is about 65,000 people. That's about 15,000 less than it was at the Silverdome. To put that in perspective, Little Caesars Arena holds, I think, between 17 and 21,000 people, depending on the seating that you have. So you could get 3 Little Caesars Arenas capacity into Ford Field and probably still have some space. All right. So with that being the case, you guys know that there's a wait list for season tickets. I have been on it. I got on the wait list November 21st of 2024. I was up for season tickets last year, and I missed my chance by 2 days. We've had, I told you guys that I think it's going to be quite a bit of turnover this year. It's going to be quite a bit of turnover. I've had people reach out to me, in fact, that offered me their season tickets. And I'm assuming they did it. As a matter of fact, one confirmed this is why they did it. When you have season tickets, you have a rep. And I guess you contact your rep, you let them know, hey, I don't want to renew my season tickets. Every year you have to opt in to remain a season ticket holder. If you opt out, maybe you're contacted. Maybe these people contacted their rep and told them what they wanted to do, and their rep requested that they try to basically transfer the tickets to somebody that's willing to take on the payments. I was contacted by 2 individuals that asked me that I want to do that. I respectfully declined. Speaking of decline, I think this is going to be shocking for a lot of people. And I think it's a slap in the face to the Detroit Lions fans, to the Detroit Lions organization. And it's been backing what we've been preaching for the past few years, that the Detroit Lions got ahead of themselves. And to me, as much love as I want to give Sheila, if she's responsible for this, then she needs to be held accountable as well. All right. So according to Barstool Detroit, this is what they had to say earlier today. Said the Lions had the 6th lowest total home attendance in 2025. They only had 8 games as opposed to 9 and have the 3rd lowest stadium capacity in the NFL. So if you follow that, out of the 32 teams, the Lions were the 6th lowest in home attendance. So that means that there were only 5 teams that had worse attendance than them. To make matters worse, now, of course, the AFC had an additional game, and you can factor that in if you want to. I'm not going to factor that in because I think this is deeper than one extra game. They also have the 3rd lowest capacity stadium. So with the low capacity of 65,000 or whatever it is, then we should be full to the brim. That wasn't the case. The sixth lowest total in 2025. I think I know why this is. Put it in the comments below and on playback. Why do you think this is? I think there's a couple reasons. One, they got priced out. The Lions were so full of themselves that they raised their ticket prices after one good year. So when we went to the NFC Championship game, they raised their ticket prices. Then, according to season ticket holders, they raised them again in 2024. In 2025, heading into this year, so 2024 was from 2023, 2025 was from 2024, according to season ticket holders, and what they are not going to go up this year. Yeah, you think? You think. The product on the field was underwhelming. But the Lions got ahead of themselves and they upped the prices 2 years in a row. And our prices are ridiculous. Ridiculous. I had the Denver Broncos Syndicate. Denver Broncos Syndicate was able to purchase a ticket for the AFC Championship game held in Denver for way less than it would have been at Ford Field in 2023. I was able to travel to San Francisco. My entire trip to San Francisco was the cost of getting in the door if it would have been at Ford Field. Now, I don't know if that's resale. I don't know if that is the Ford's doing. I know that it was on paper that the Lions had the most expensive prices in the league. And when you look at other teams, the only team that I could see competing when I looked at ticket prices, even Arrowhead, I sat in the lower bowl at Arrowhead on a resale ticket for about $300. That ticket probably would have been $800 at Ford Field minimum. And the Lions had the lowest attendance. The second reason why I think that's the case is how we started. And the gradual effect. See, this is what people don't want to admit. And this is what the Slappies and the Honolulu drinkers and the Kool-Aid drinkers and the Lens, the blue color glasses, this is what you don't want to admit. What happens in the past, it shapes the present and it shapes the future. So notice the excitement heading into 2026 is nowhere near. I have no excitement. My excite-o-meter is on 0. I have no excitement. It's year 6 of a regime. You have limited draft picks. Your cap space is minus right now, and you have to figure out how to get us back to championship caliber contender. No excitement at all. Brad Holmes has done that to me. So 2023, excitement was through the roof. That's when the wait list started. 2024, we're coming off of an NFC championship game. 15-2, first seed through the roof. People bought into it. They bought into it. We came out, we didn't do anything in free agency. The draft was lackluster, and we came out, lost both our coordinators, and laid a turd in Green Bay. There's that word again, turd. And I think that is the moment people stop going to games. Now, as a season ticket holder, I don't know if you not going to games affects your season ticket status. I do know if you transfer a certain amount, you can have them revoked. I don't know if just not going will also equal them revoking your season tickets. But for the Detroit Lions, as diehard as we are to have the 6th lowest total attendance in 20, and I'm going to be real. I went to the game I only been to one game at Ford Field this season. It was November 2nd, the first loss against the Minnesota Vikings. And I was in here and I was saying, I'm looking around and I was like, something's different. It don't even seem as loud. It ain't as hype. It wasn't there. The mojo was not there at all. Lions go up on season tickets after one good year. They go up again after a second good year. And now that we were underwhelming and quite frankly not good enough, now they decide not to go up on ticket prices. That's usually what happened. Losing, if you're going to become a season ticket holder, get in while the team sucks and stay a season ticket holder. Because once they start winning, that's when the demand is going to increase. But to have the 6th, to be the franchise that we are, and I'm actually surprised by this. I'm surprised by this, that we have a wait list. I totally expect my name to be called this season. I was only 2 days away, and I totally expect it to happen because the turnover, I already know they're probably going to start in right around the new league years when I got the email last year. As a matter of fact, it literally coincided with free agency. It was the same week as free agency. That Monday, free agency was Tuesday. That Monday, I got an email saying, you're picking, you're up to pick this week. Your day is Friday. If there's any tickets left, and by the time it came to, as a matter of fact, on Wednesday, I got an email saying, we're all sold out again, but you'll remain on the wait list exactly where you were. So let me know, what do you think? What do you think of the Detroit Lions having the 6th lowest total home attendance in 2025? Why do you think this is a result? I think it's a combination of things. It's the disappointment, it's the excitement, the lack thereof. It is the fact how the team started the season, and it's also the ticket prices. It's insane. It's insane. It's insane. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Ticket costs and no production on the field. Price hike. Ticket price. Not going to spend money on bad product. They overprice all the main loyal fans out. Yeah, you know what? So in 2023, when you guys know the super fans. You got Crackman. You got, I think, the tutu lady, and the tutu lady is the lady I was talking about yesterday that said that she would mortgage her house if the Lions went to a super. She would, take out a second mortgage. You got Megan Stefanski. You got the Afro dude. You got Lion Eyes, and they all kind of combine together. It's funny because when I go to an event, like I've only been to one or two, but I blend right in. Like, I'm not a super fan. I blend right in. I start setting up my equipment and I start podcasting. Like, that's who I am. I'm a critic of the Detroit Lions, but I'm not a super fan, right? And so I'm like, for them to, like, the way that, like, that's what this is for. This is for those type of fans, those type of super fans. I don't think Clemmy's a super fan. I don't think she's a super fan. Like, to me, super fans they got either, like, you see her a lot. I think she's close to a super fan, but I don't think she's that yet. I think she might be. You got like super fans, then you have her. If you fly from out of town on a consistent basis to come to Ford Field, you borderline, like, you right there. All right, now for the main event. This is the main event, man, and I got this pulled up. Let me make sure I have it. Where is the... Here it is. All right. Okay. Let's get ready to rumble. Bam, 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 bam. All right, the moment that you guys have all been waiting. Hey, Patty. Dallas is ridiculous, bro. To stand in Dallas a couple years when the Lions played them in the 2-point conversion game, I was going to go to that game. And I'm looking at the prices. I'm like, I can't go here. To stand was like $400 and something. Then the getting to the stadium. So I was going to fly Southwest, and Southwest doesn't have a airport that's close to the stadium, because ideally I'm a fly to the airport guy, Uber to my location, walk to the game, walk back to the hotel, rinse, repeat, right? That's probably what I would do. If I rent a car, I might as well drive. I ain't trying to look. And that stuff ain't cheap no more. It ain't cheap. David, are you serious, bro? Let me look. Let me look. Inside joke going on right now. Inside joke. Oh man, this look, holy smokes. Wow. Wow. Oh, this was your... Yo, no wonder you need a discount code. Holy smokes. Okay. I mean, if you a snake eater, a snake. if you a steak eater, I guess it works out. Let me see. David, thank you, sir. Sucks because we could have had Mike Tirico on our first call Super Bowl appearance, but here we are. What, this year? He's calling the Super Bowl this year? Wow, I did not know that. All right. And now Lions fans for the main event. Now, I want to make sure I know where it is so I'm not stumbling and bumbling. Oh, this ain't no short article. Okay. All right, here we go. All right. Lions Live, what up, bro? Well, I'm glad you caught the main event of the show because the main event of the show is about your boy. It's about your boy, and I'm feeling some type of way. I know you want to disagree, but that's fine. No. I'm good, Braylon. I'm good, bro. I was just looking at the Omaha steaks, and they're not cheap because somebody said 4 for $99. So anyway, all right. So let's get ready to rumble. So Detroit Lions fans were expecting big news at OC. Lions said we have to evolve. That's been the word of the offseason, is evolve. As a matter of fact, those are the shirts that we should be wearing, evolve. Sheila said it, Dan said it, Brad said it. Everybody's in accordance. They all together. They all said it in unison. We need to evolve, refocus, and move forward. And the Detroit Lions move forward by getting rid of Johnny Morton and going with an OC. Now, it turns out the Lions, they interviewed 10 candidates, and they picked the best fit for them, which was Drew Petzing. Now, I've said this many times before. I have no chill when it comes to this team. There are many other YouTube creators that are chilling on this team. Everything they do is great. Or if they critique it at first, then they always come around and they see the light. I'm not one of those guys. I see the light occasionally. But to me, the light is on Woodward with a Lombardi trophy, drinking as much as possible. Like, no, I'm just playing with that part. But that's the light for me. There's no other light. We're in the tunnel. Seeing the light is seeing Lombardi. That's a look. I see the light when I see Lombardi. That's a shirt too. So I've been very critical of this regime, specifically Brad Holmes, especially of late. I've been very critical of him since the offseason of 2023, the disappointing outcome. You can blame whoever you want about the lack of or blowing a 17-point lead and not making our first Super Bowl. I know who I'm blaming and who is at the top of my list. There's a lot of blame to go around, including Josh Reynolds. But number one on my list is Brad Holmes. He will stay there. He has to win me back. I am on team. I do not think that he's going to succeed. I'm at the point where the sound of his voice irritates me. Seeing his face irritates me. That's how bad it's getting for me and Brad Holmes. And I don't think this made it any better. Now, you could have a different opinion than me, but you know that's the beauty about opinions. Everybody's got one. This is mine. Why the hiring Drew Petzing is a move that not a lot of Lions fans loved. And they sure didn't love it at first. And there's a reason we brought on Mike Kafka in a undisclosed high-ranking official staff role, a.k.a. looking over your shoulder, watching my back. I don't know. And this, what I heard from Brad Holmes to me, might be the nail in the proverbial coffin that this is not the guy at all. Maybe I'm looking to be petty. Maybe I'm looking to critique. Maybe I'm looking too darn hard. But when you don't win a Super Bowl for the 60 years it's been around, and the last time your team was relevant was when you was in middle school, and then before that when your mom was born, you have no tolerance for games. And here is what I'm talking about. So Brad Holmes was interviewed. Dave Burkett, the Lions beat one. Well, he's a Lions beat writer, but he works for the Detroit Free Press. He's kind of like the top dog in the room after Michael O'Hara retired. And they caught him with Brad at the Senior Bowl. And here is what he said about how they went about hiring Drew Petzing. And I want you to tell me, how do you feel about this? However you feel is how you feel. I'm not trying to sway you. I'm just here to tell you my opinion and give you my opinion. That's all I'm here for. This is coming from the Free Press. I still got my membership, so that it expires sometime this year. I think maybe even next month. They start charging $29 a month to have this service. But Dave Burkett, his articles are behind a paywall. So this is when it comes to hiring Drew Petzing. Says, and a lot of it is, what I liked about him is that it's not a system, Holmes said. It's what you do. It's what you do have. It's the personnel that you have. Like, what can we do? And so that's what I think he showed us in that process, is that he can maximize personnel of what's available. So that's real exciting. Okay, that's cool, right? You don't work with much. You work with limited capacity. And I thought, okay, he's referring to the fact that you're dealing with injury. You got Marvin Jones dropping passes. Trey McBride is your leading receiver. You working with, and everybody's calling. Everybody loved to say, well, he did this with Jacoby Brissett. So you working with like scrap heaps people, and you turn them into what you turned them. Now, as far as I know, they didn't win. They didn't even make the playoffs. But okay, so you saw that. You liked it. You don't need much. You don't need, you literally turned a molehill into a mountain. We give you some scraps. So what I'm hearing is that Drew Petzing is MacGyver. Drew Petzing is MacGyver, bro. That is what I'm hearing. Let me know if you get the reference. MacGyver, he done taken a paper clip, a rubber band, and some salt and made a bomb. That's what I hear, that Petzing is MacGyver. So they wanted MacGyver at OC. But here's the part that for me, I am like, you know what? That's how we're doing now? Let me show you what I'm talking about. It was just a ton of impressive candidates. But we got to the end of the week and we kind of went back to like, who's the guy that we all collectively felt like he checked all the boxes for us? Holmes said. Here's the part. And we just kind of went with that. We went with the gut. And that's why we made the move. So let me get this straight. You went with an OC based on a gut feeling. Our new OC is our new OC because you went with your gut. That is how we're trying to win Super Bowls, is by gut feelings. You know, I have a lot of those. You know what a gut feeling can be too? It can send you to the toilet. It can give you bubble guts. A gut feeling can be bubble guts. What is this? We went with a gut feeling, ladies and gentlemen. We went with the gut. That is a direct quote from Brad Holmes. We went with the gut, and that's why we made the move. It ain't about talent. It ain't about scheme. It ain't about they wanted MacGyver from the gut. How do you build a team off the gut? That is I didn't even make that up. Now, unless Dave Burkett is a liar and he misquoted and did that on purpose, we went with a gut feeling. Not the best candidate, the gut candidate. I cannot believe that at all. So so we're building teams from the gut. We're going to build a Super Bowl champion from the gut. That's what we're doing. Somebody said earlier in this podcast, I'm beginning to believe that Brad Holmes don't know what the heck he doing. And you know what? I've already said that. Y'all like to say, well, why don't you be the GM? Maybe I should be. You know what? My gut says do this. My gut says do that. We kind of just went with that. Went with the gut. And that's why we made the move. He wasn't the best candidate. He checked all the boxes, which means that other people probably checked all the boxes too, but they didn't. They just, I got a good feeling about this guy. I got my gut telling me this guy. I'm sure your gut has told you to play the lottery. Play these specific numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And you went and did it. And what happened? Are you rich? Did you buy a new house? I can't believe this. We went with the gut. We're not drafting players from talent. We're not even grit, ladies and gentlemen. I could have lived with, he had grit. I could have went with that. I could have went with the Lions having grit. Why? Because that's what they do. That's what they've been doing. This team is built off that. It ain't enough, but it's built off that. But to say that you went from the gut, Come on, bro. And we're supposed to trust you to take this franchise to and win a Super Bowl off gut feelings. My job is over. My work is done. All the cards now are in Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell's court. It's time for their gut to take us to the Super Bowl. Or y'all gonna be calling Marvin sooner than you would anticipate. I'm not playing, bro. This is becoming detestable to me. And let me remind you, not a good season, ladies and gentlemen, is what I'm waiting for. Not a back-to-back division titles. Not even an NFC championship game. A Super Bowl is the only measuring stick that I have. It's 0 to Super Bowl. There is no in between. Not a first seed, not a division title, not I don't care. I care about, so that means that your gut is going to take us to the Super Bowl. So, ladies and gentlemen, forget Howie Roseman, Les Snead, Selden Picks. Forget, we got the gut of Brad Holmes, bro. And that's how we going to win the Super Bowl. And I hope he proved me. I hope his gut. And you know what? If he wins a Super Bowl off gut, we good to go. He going to get a job and just walk in. You know what? How do you plan to win, Brad? How do you plan to win? Let's say it don't work out. Or he wins the Super Bowl and he's like, you know what? I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to find another team. Let's see. How's the interview going to go? Brad Holmes, what's your qualifications? You know what, man? I see something. I like it and I want it. I see it. My gut tells me it's the right thing to do. You know, I built the entire Detroit Lions roster from the gut. No talent, no nothing. Yes, I was a director of scouting, but it doesn't matter because every single time I chose a player, it was simply from the gut. That's why when we were with Detroit, it was talent. No amount of talent would get you on the Detroit Lions. It was all about grit and gut. As a matter of fact, that's it. I want to see that on a shirt. Grit and gut. Coming soon. Let me know what you think, bro. I think that's ridiculous. We went with the gut that this guy was going to be the right fit. Forget talent. Forget apps. He can, the gut, bro. All right, let me know what you think in the comments below. But I told you, I'm starting to despise even the sight of him. That's where I'm at. Oh, I can't believe he said that, bro. I can't believe he said that. And that's why I said to y'all, like, Brad need to be quiet. He need to be quiet. Somebody need to tell him to shut up. Don't even say nothing. He need to read off of a paper. Every time Brad Holmes, every time he speaks, he needs a paper. He needs an outline. He needs to stay on topic. He needs to stay in this little bubble of conversation. Let me refer to my notes before I answer questions. We kind of went off the gut. And he said we, so throw Dan Campbell in there too. They took an OC off a gut feeling. Let me ask you something, ladies and gentlemen. Have your gut feeling been right all the time? And I'm talking about bubble guts. I'm talking about, you know what? I got a gut. My gut tells me the Lions going to have a good, or my gut tells me that this is the right move to make. And what happens? Nothing. Next thing you know, your gut done let you down. You know what a gut is? Intuition. That's a man's word for intuition. Women have intuition. We trust our gut. Brad Holmes signed an OC off intuition, bro. But I'm the dude that y'all want to talk about? I'm the loony Lions fan. That is crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Media is praising Vrabel for taking Patriots to the Super Bowl and the team of castaways. Seems like that could have been us with all the injuries, but coaching also failed us in the moments that matter. Yes, coaching did fail us, 100%. It did. Dan Campbell, take the points. Sean, what is his name? Sean Payton, take the points. Take the points, man. Take the points, okay? One thing that I hope Dan Campbell learned from his mentor and from his season, it's okay. And we beat the Bears because we took the points. We beat the Chicago Bears in week 18 because we took the points. I hope that is a turning point for Dan Campbell. And maybe with Dan Campbell too. It took a losing, losing on the playoffs, missing the playoffs to realize, take the points. Take the points, Campbell. Enough is enough. Shout out to Class of 97 with the super chat. Says, $5. I appreciate you, bro. Ben Johnson didn't take the points either. No, he did not. He did not. He sure went for it a whole lot. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we out of time. I'll tell you one thing that I am waiting for. I'm waiting for it to warm up here in Michigan because it is cold. I'm talking about where the feels like is negative. It can be 15 degrees, but the feels like is negative, okay? It's been cold. I ain't seen the sun in a minute. I don't even know if the sun is still a thing. Like, I am ready for, a heat wave for us right now, we talking about 28, 30. Freezing for us right now would be a heat wave. People probably running outside with bikinis on because it is cold, bro. It's cold. When the Brad leaves, where does he go? Who's going to want him in the wake of what he's causing? And will he leave Detroit? Can you imagine the presser? Only reason we didn't go to the playoffs is because he didn't take the points in 3 games. You know what, Lions? That could be true, but were we going to stand up to any of those teams? We might have won one team, but we ain't getting past Seattle. They would have mauled offensive line. So, but the sun doesn't exist. I spent a lot of money on Sunday Ticket because my gut told me the Lions would win the Super Bowl. Well, Ben Johnson channeled Dan all season. No reason for us to change at this point, I guess. The last time I bought Sunday Ticket was on 16, so yeah. I've never bought Sunday Ticket. Of course, I've never had to because I live 10 miles from the stadium. So, yeah. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you. We don't forget, tomorrow there is no show on this channel. We will be on Lions Syndicate. And, I almost forgot. Yo, these are my prototypes. My members did see them first. So you guys are going to see them actually before the Lions Syndicate crowd. But I have 3 shirts that I am working on. Okay, well, 2 for sure. And this is a prototype. There are some things about it that can change. I like this particular photo. Some people want me to change it, but I like this photo. If you are a member, there is a community tab up that you can vote on the shirt. And I think whatever the highest vote is the one that we are going to go with. Because, of course, I want people to like what they're wearing. So when we were watching Dan Campbell's or Brad Holmes' presser, and we were at the end of the presser or during the presser, we broke down a part where he said, define aggressive. And that's where this idea came from. I knew the picture immediately of what I wanted to go with, define aggressive. And let me blow this up so you guys can see it a little better. All right. Okay. So here is one variation of the shirt. The define aggressive shirt. Now, this is based off the picture of Brad at a presser. And the reason I like this is because he's thinking really hard about the meaning of aggressive. So there is another mock-up that I'm going to do, and I'm going to put it up for vote. Now, that's the one with no background. I'm going to tell you the ones with no background. I just say, how can I say this to be PG? The space, like his head occupied, first of all, because of the photo, is off-centered. And you also have, there are 2 particular things on your body that will be very prominent if you take this shirt. So that's why I don't really like this shirt, because it has too much empty space, and that empty space will bring attention to other parts of your body, if you know what I mean. So that's number 1. Here is, oh man, I got to blow this one up too. All right, so here is number 2. And this one is actually doing a little better in the voting. And this is the no background that you're looking at. And let me pull this one down so you guys can see it a little more. We'll blow it up a little more, and then we'll go here. So this one is the define aggressive with the blue background. So this one here is, it voids that empty space. It's symmetrical, and it, the attention on the 2 particular body parts won't be there like it is. So this one is getting high votes as well. But the number 1 vote that is getting, the one that's getting the most votes is this one right here. And you'll see what I did here to try to occupy the dead space, if you will, and still keep it kind of clean and stuff like that. This one here is the partial background, and this is the define aggressive partial background. So if you can see, because his head is off-centered, I added the partial background. So his head eats up the stuff on one side, the partial background eats up the dead space on the other side. I tried my logo there. It doesn't fit. It's not really aesthetically pleasing. So I ditched that idea and I went with this one. Now, I like this photo, but there's another photo that I'm going to mock up as well. I like this photo because of the stupid look he has on his face. Define aggressive. Like he is really trying to figure out what the Lions are talking about. When the reporter asks, what is define aggressive? What are we talking about? What? Because I'm not understanding. So this is the look that he makes when he's really trying to think about, what do you mean aggressive? What do you mean aggressive? So that's why I like this photo. These are the 3 mock-ups. Of course, I will have to try the product, see how it looks, see how it feels before I put anything on sale. So I have a St. Brown's shirt coming soon. You Don't Know Ball. That one's going to come too. I'll probably wind up designing that one today or tomorrow. And then those are going to go on sale probably after the Super Bowl. The goal is I should be able to make the shirt, order the sample, get the sample, and have it to launch after the Super Bowl. So yeah. I want to put my logo on most of this stuff, but I was thinking about putting it vertically on the other side of his face, but I actually like the clean look. So what I might do, this will make the shirts cost a twinge more money, is I might put Lion Syndicate on the back right below the back collar, like right below there, just a teensy Lion Syndicate 2021 logo there, because it really doesn't go anywhere else. So we've got a couple new products. Davenport will be retired. So if you want a Davenport shirt, you can grab that. I might put those on like clearance or something like that. Green Bay still sucks. That'll be a thing. And next year I'll remember to do knitted hats, because I'm like, yo, I could really use a knitted cap, because I don't really wear coats in the winter, but my ears are starting to get super cold now that I turned 46. Like specifically my right ear, I'll go outside for like 5 minutes, man, and my right ear feels like it's been damaged. So beanies and stuff like that will be available next year, but we'll probably discontinue the stuff that really didn't sell, and then we will add some new shirts as well. So let me know what you think in the comments below. I like that particular photo because I want to catch him in an unflattering, like define aggressive. You know good and well what we mean, dog. You know good and well. And don't forget, man, Brad Holmes may not be here. I got one. I got a whole bunch of ideas, man. Grit and guts, like the whole thing, man. But I only want to make what people want to wear. So with that being said, man, I appreciate y'all. I will see you on Lion Syndicate tomorrow. We will be back here on Friday. Take care of yourself and each other, and go Lions. Man, oh man.
Blowing, and I'm pissing off the neighbors. Whether homegrown or imported, we feeling shorted, cause we waiting on our paper. So next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, when we get back on the feet. Yeah, you don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the Motor City, nothing is as pretty as the hustle. You don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the Motor City, everything ain't pretty, but it's love though. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, when we get back on our feet. Yeah.